Before we begin, comment down below what country and or city you're watching from and like and subscribe if you hate racist cars. Also subscribe to my second channel where I make more drama-themed videos. I'll leave a link down below. All right, settle in. Settle in. A Saturday morning cartoon almost got my kid killed. That's the line that still catches in my throat because if you've ever stood in your own kitchen and heard a knock that felt like a threat, you know how fast a quiet life can split open. You know what I mean? I bought this house for silence, blue shutters, a backyard big enough for a football game, an address where my son Leo could chase lightning bugs, where grief from losing his mom could finally soften into regular days with pancakes and grass stains and dumb jokes about who stole the last chocolate chip. That was the plan. That was the fortress. And then there was the neighbor, the one in the black sweater and stiff blonde helmet, always watching, never waving, cataloging us the way you inventory a garage shelf. Not curious, suspicious. I clocked it the first week I always clock it, that quiet census. You do when you're the only black family on a cul-de-sac. But I chose peace for Leo's sake. I swallowed it, kept my smile mode on Tuesdays like everyone else waved anyway. That morning the TV was on Cosmic Crusaders blasting laser sounds and a kung fu badger Leo laughing in those bright little bursts that make a father feel like he got at least one thing right. I'm flipping pancakes, doing the whole diner routine when the knock hits. Not a neighborly tap. A set of hard staccato raps that say, "Open up like you owe me something." I wipe my hands, open the door, and she's there, sweater jorts. The pinched mouth peering past me like my house is evidence. "You need to turn that down," she says, gravel on glass. Not a request, a command. I tell her it's a kid's show. I'll lower it a notch, but it's well within normal, and that's when she drops it. Not about volume, about the nature of the noise. Aggressive, violent, like my son's laughter is a weapon system, like cartoon lasers can pierce her perfectly curated weekend people. Here value a certain standard, she says, and she doesn't say you people, but the air does. I keep my voice low, steady. I'm good at that. Day job in the Civil Rights Division will train it into your bones. My son is watching TV in his own home on a Saturday morning. We're not violating any ordinance. Have a nice day. Door closes with a clean, confident click. I thought that was the end. I thought I'd won the pettiest war on earth. Yeah, that happened. And then I walk back toward the living room. Call for Leo to come demolish the mountain of pancakes. And I see it. Leo on the floor, face down. Small hands laced behind his head. A man in tactical gear pointing a matte black rifle at the back of my 10-year-old's skull. 3 more men flooding my home through the slider I'd left open for the breeze. And there's a rule book inside me that has kept too many fathers alive to ignore. Don't run, don't lunge, don't shout. Keep your hands visible, narrate your moves, survive to fight. I say my son is 10. That's all I get out before a barrel digs into my sternum and I'm on the linoleum cheek against cool floor, smelling burnt sugar and gun oil, and through the doorway I can see her, my neighbor at a safe distance on her lawn, watching like a satisfied director on set. The report was a hostage situation. They say a man with a rifle threatening a child, and the only rifles in the house are the ones they brought with them. The lie is the deadliest weapon in the room. They demand ID. I give them ID slowly, very slowly. And when the sergeant reads the Department of Justice credentials, something in the air drops 10 degrees. This isn't influence, it's clarity. It says there will be consequences for a mistake like this. "Stand down," he radios, "we've been had." And that's when Officer Miller arrives in a rumpled suit with a smirk, like he's auditioning for villain number 2. He defends the chaos with a shrug. Came in as a domestic with a gun. Gotta take it seriously. And I clock a new ecosystem. Not one hateful neighbor, but a network that winks and nods through the same story. Once they leave, the silence is different. It's not peace. It's aftermath. Leo won't touch the pancakes. He won't leave my side that night. He wakes screaming, "Don't shoot." and I'm rocking my kid in the dark with tears in his hair. Understanding the real crime isn't just false reporting or trespass under color of law. It's stealing a child's sleep and handing him a picture of monsters in uniforms. Let me back up a sec. I'm trained to separate rage from remedy. So Monday I call my boss, lay out the facts like I'm describing someone else's case. He listens, then says, the thing I needed most and least to hear. We're making this a priority. You're the victim and the witness. You don't touch the investigation, be a dad. We'll burn them down legally. Agent Clark shows up that afternoon. No swagger, just method, she interviews. Leo gently asks him to draw what he saw, turns to me and says, the 911 call was from a burner triangulated to a handful of stores. We'll pull footage. We'll chase the ghost. And just as the FBI wheels start turning, a new attack arrives like a knife. An anonymous tip to the Inspector General claims, I'm abusing my position, intimidating a poor neighbor. And on a rotten corner of the internet, an extremist rant is posted using my full name and middle initial signed, like a taunt. I work on the inside, the timing is surgical. First frame me as a bully, then as a radical. And suddenly I'm under OIG lights, answering polite, terrifying questions. In a windowless room I've used on other people, proving a negative with steady hands. Then Miller knocks again with a search warrant for illegal firearms and extremist literature. Same lie, new paper trail. They tear through my home for 2 hours, find nothing but dust bunnies and Dr. Seuss. And when they leave disappointed, something flips because warrants require sworn statements. Statements build chains of evidence, and chains can lead straight back to the hands that forged them. I call Clark. Tell her about the search, and she's already moving. They overplayed. She says, now we get the affidavit, the informant, the timestamp. My own quiet hunt kicks up, too. I need to prove the online post isn't mine and point to who did it. Timeline says it was posted at 3:51 p.m. I dig up a dentist copay from 3:42 p.m. Across town, a physical impossibility. And then I study photos of the library where the IP pinged there, a black dome camera over the terminals. Ghosts always leave a reflection. We subpoena the footage and the guest pass logs. And 2 days later, Clark calls, we got her timestamp 3:48. She walks in the same black sweater, and those jorts, gets a guest pass, sits at Terminal 4, posts, wipes the keyboard with a tissue like she's in a TV show about crime. Walks out, and it gets better. Clark says, Miller's phone records are a bonfire. Years of cozy ties with her family. Dozens of calls and hundreds of texts leading up to the swatting, including the smoking gun. If you feel unsafe, call 911. Tell them you hear screaming and think he has a gun. They have to respond. I'll make sure I'm on shift, and later, after the raid fails, the plan to brand me a radical and fish for a warrant, the confidential informant on my search. Officer Daniel Miller himself. Now, we're not talking neighborhood drama. We're talking conspiracy against rights, perjury, obstruction, wire fraud. The U.S. attorney spins up the warrants, and I ask for one thing that sounds petty until you've lived it. I want the arrests in my living room, the exact place they tried to break us, not for a trophy for my kid, because I want Leo to see the same door that opened for terror, open for justice. I want the click of handcuffs to overwrite the click of a safety. The setup is clean. Clark brings my neighbor under the guise of clarifying her witness statement. A captain delivers Miller under the pretense of serving a warrant. Leo sits beside me in his Cosmic Crusaders shirt, his quiet defiance. And when the door opens at 10:00 a.m., she floats in, already savoring the gloat, pointing to the exact spot where she claims I threatened her. A second car pulls up. Miller steps in with that practiced impatience, and Clark's tone shifts from neutral to federal as 2 more agents enter from the porch. Ma'am, you are under arrest for conspiracy to make a false report and conspiracy against rights. Daniel Miller, you are under arrest for the same with additional counts of perjury and obstruction. The room holds its breath. My neighbor's face collapses like a bad set under hot lights. Miller drains to chalk, and Leo hears the sound I wanted him to hear. The sharp metallic click once, twice. A new echo laid over the old one. They try the usual lines. You'll regret this, you twisted it. I don't give them my anger, just my silence. They look very small walking past the couch where my son's nightmare started, and when the door shuts and the house exhales, Leo lets one clean tear slip, then smiles. Small and real, the fortress holds. Trials take time. You can Google the statutes later or don't, but a jury of neighbors looked at the text and the footage and the warrants and saw it plain. She got 8 years, he got 10. The HOA president stepped down after trying to fine me for SWAT, boot scuffs on my lawn, failure to maintain aesthetic harmony. If you can believe that. The cul-de-sac is quieter now, but not the fake quiet you buy with welcome baskets. It's the quiet that follows a lesson learned the hard way. Do we still check the locks twice? Sometimes. Does a siren make Leo flinch? Sometimes. Healing isn't a switch, it's a trail. You walk together. And I still stand in court and talk about the architecture of hate like I always have. Except now I'm not speaking from a brief, I'm speaking from linoleum. From a boy whispering, "Don't shoot in his sleep," from a Lego castle on the rug we almost lost. And if you're listening to this, thinking that's just one bad apple neighbor, let me save you some time. It wasn't. It was a system of nods and looks and cowardly silences that let one person weaponize the whole machine. And the only reason we beat it is because we answered a lie with patience and evidence and a refusal to leave. We didn't run because I won't teach my son that you flee the dark. I'll teach him. You turn on the light and make the monsters show their faces. So yeah, a cartoon almost cost my son his life. And the woman who tried to write that ending wound up in cuffs where she belonged. But the real ending is this. Every neighborhood has a choice. Protect the illusion of peace or the people who live there. Every HOA, every watch group, every patrol car, choose. And if you're still here with me, tell me this. In the comments, what does justice look like to you when the threat lives next door, when the system buckles under a lie? Do you think we went too far, not far enough? What would you have done if it was your living room, your kid, your quiet street? Share it, argue it. Because the only way any of us keeps a fortress is if we decide together what's worth defending and who we're willing to defend it for.